We're here, Mount Bethel, Pennsylvania, at Hardball Cider. I was thinking,
They have a pond at the back, and then it's like their tables are like 20 feet apart. So, coronavirus, stay away.
they're very much so cognizant of like all the COVID standards and stuff. And it's such a cool thing to see because people nowadays want to go out. They want to go outside and enjoy, you know, the outdoors.
I really like the atmosphere. I think everything's really peaceful. When we drove in, it looked very historic, and it's great already. And we just drove in, so I'm really excited to try the ciders and see what they have to offer.
Okay, so we're here with Geoff from Hardball Cider. Gonna sample some of his beautiful flights here. I love the baseball terms, like
Yeah, it's really cool. Everything's so well baseball themed. It's really cool.
Well, thanks.
Splitter, curveball, catcher, third baseman. It's cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, that was my first 3 ciders were fastball, splitter, and curve. So
Yeah.
those are a dry, a semi-sweet, and a sweet, and that was how I started.
Yeah.
Those were the very first 3.
What
And,
inspired that, the whole baseball thing?
I played ball like all the way through college.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I ended up coaching some college softball,
Okay.
some professional women's softball, and so I hurt my shoulder playing after college, and so I was like, well, how do we still get that feeling, that energy of being around the ballpark?
Yeah.
And that was really the pursuit originally, was to be in every major minor league ballpark in the country.
Nice.
So that was the dream. I would still love for that to happen one day.
Yeah.
We ended up getting into the Phillies ballpark and 3 minor league ballparks like the very first year that I started.
That's
producing
awesome, man.
stuff.
That's only been around for like a
crazy.
year, right?
Yeah.
We opened here last May,
Okay.
but I've been producing since about late 2014, with our first sales being in 2015. So, yeah, so
Good.
a couple years under our belts here, but that happened very quickly early on.
Yeah.
And then another quick story, but I ended up being on the Rachel Ray show, and I pitched.
Rachel Ray.
Yeah.
Rachel Ray.
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
Yeah, so
We got a celebrity here.
Oh my God.
I entered a Facebook contest. Like I didn't. It was like something. I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw it said enter for a chance to win $10,000 in a one-on-one with Barbara Corcoran. And a couple weeks went by, and I forgot about it. I had no idea, that I would ever even be considered.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting at home one Monday night. I get this email, and the subject's like one of those real spammy subject lines. And I scroll through, and it's you go to the bottom. There's some attachments like, "I want your social security number, your driver's license." I was like, "Yeah, okay,
Yeah, okay.
See you later." And my rich uncle Harry just passed away and left me a fortune too, right?
Yeah.
No, next morning my phone rings. And I'm like, "It's a New York number. Who's calling me from New York?"
Yeah.
So I answer. It's like, "Hey Geoff, this is Lexi from On Deck Capital. Did you get my email last night?" I was like, "Lexi, yeah. What was that about?" She's like, "Oh, you've been selected as a finalist in the On Deck Capital contest that you entered to meet Barbara Corcoran." I was like, "What? Wait, I was?" I was like, total shock. I was like, "Wait a minute, so that wasn't a fake email last night?" So she's like, "Okay, you've been selected as a finalist. I'll let you know on Thursday. Like this is a Tuesday morning. I'll let you know on Thursday whether or not you've been selected to appear on TV." I said, "Oh, okay." So you'll be on the Rachel Ray show. You'll be pitching. You'll have a 30-second pitch, so you have to pitch to Barbara Corcoran. And I was like, okay, I'm going to be pitching live on the air to Barbara Corcoran. Found out there were 3 finalists. We all pitched live on the air. And turns out we all ended up winning at the end of the show.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, it was amazing. So then like a month and a half later, we had a one-on-one with Barbara in New York. And,
Oh my God.
it was incredible. Like really cool.
All right.
Are we all trying to say one? All right.
Which one are we having?
Yes, that's the splitter.
I can tell the semi-sweet because there's not a whole lot of dryness to it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Tastes like wine.
Yeah.
Like a pinch of
Yeah,
like a
sweet wine kind of.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would do the caramel next.
And next
so
one's
that's
caramel,
the caramel
yeah.
card.
That, I always love caramel.
And so this one was
caramel.
this one was really
So good.
interesting for me and an awesome project. So that one's been in the works for a little while.
I'm sorry. We haven't
He's rushing
cheersed
the
this whole-
process here, man.
He's a caramel. I can't
rushing it.
wait. He's a caramel. That's my favorite.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. He's rushing it.
Yeah.
This is
Just the
so
smell
good,
alone, and
dude.
I'm hooked.
Yeah.
That is the best caramel cider I've ever had. I'm not even.
This
I'm not
is
even
really good.
Really?
just
Thank
saying
you.
that.
That's
Yeah, I'm not saying it either. That was really wow.
6.9%.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He's the bottle this.
creep up on you.
bottle it?
We'll start canning that shortly, but that's the very
Okay.
first batch.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is really good.
So yeah, so we did that one, and the name, I was, again, back to the baseball stuff, and like everything kind of has to tie somehow. So Caramel Card is the name of that cider, and the history behind it was that late 1890s, Hershey's actually had a caramel company, but so there was Hershey's Caramel and there was the American Caramel Company, and so Hershey's decided they were gonna spin off and get out of the caramel business because they wanted to focus on chocolate. Well, we see how that played out for Hershey's today, right? So American Caramel acquired Hershey's caramel division, and what they used to do is they put a piece of caramel in a pack of baseball cards, and so American
that's
Caramel
cool.
Cards was
Yeah.
the longer part. The original thought behind that name was American Caramel
Oh,
Cards,
okay.
and then we kind of shortened it because it just fit on a label better, and like
That's so cool.
I can still tell the story, but that was how that came about, was the name for that cider. So up for the next one.
Yeah, what's the next one?
All right, the next one's Puckerball. This is a sour cherry cider, and so we use some sour cherry juice in this. A little bit of extra malic acid in there to kind of really punch that sour.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say exactly like a sour beer,
Yeah.
but you're gonna get a little bit of bite there from
I
the
can whiff of that. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Cheers. I feel bad.
Now we're actually
haven't
gonna do it
cheersed.
at the same time.
on it.
Thought we need practice at this.
So you go from sweet to very tart on that one.
You really
Yeah.
do hit like every
Yeah.
angle of the palate with each and every one of these. This is good.
Thanks. Yeah.
What is it about the cider community, man? I see like cider makers have such a strong passion. I mean, I guess you have to, but like everybody's so passionate about what they do.
I mean, I want to say my experience is limited with the cider makers, but I'd say on a national footprint, you guys have been all over the place, but my main experiences are with Pennsylvania cider makers. And so almost everyone that I can think of off the top of my head, and I could rattle off a bunch, because we're all members of the PA Cider Guild, we're all farmers in background, or in some part of our life, or we own and operate farms and orchards now. And so there's a lot of what you're drinking here that you don't see in the process, right? Like you can look down there, there's an orchard there. Well, they need to be pruned, they need to be sprayed in our case, we're not an organic farm, but they need to be tended to, they need to be nurtured as they grow. You're at the mercy of the weather. So, a late frost in the spring, you lose all your crop for the year. Then what? This product is dependent upon those apples growing on those trees to make it happen. So it's a ton of hard work. There's a lot of time that goes into it. There's a lot of time that goes into just the hard cider end of it. But like to get it to that stage, there's all year. Like through the winter, the trees are dormant, you're pruning. Come springtime, they're starting to blossom, you're spraying, you're making sure that the fruit's gonna produce, the trees are gonna produce. And then come this time of year, we're harvesting. You pick everything. And we don't have mechanical pickers, like we're out there by hand.
Jeez.
So everyone you pick, it means something.
Yeah.
So it goes in the bin, it goes into the press, you have juice, then you start working with the juice to make the hard cider. And like there's just, I guess it's a labor of love, if you will, but there's just so much of you that goes into that product well before it ever ends up in a glass. So the last one's our spiced curveball. So this is the spiced version of the regular curve that I was telling you about. That was one of the original 3 ciders. So this one we sweeten up a little bit, still an apple base, but a little cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove in there. And this one's been before the caramel card. I think caramel card may, unseat this one as kind of the fall winter #1 seller. But this has been my #1 through the fall and winter since I made it.
You said cinnamon and nutmeg?
Cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove.
Thank you. Oh man, yeah. It smells nice and like spicy.
Yeah.
Ooh, that smells good.
Cheers,
I like that
guys.
smell. I can't decide which one is good. The caramel or this one?
When I originally did this, it was okay. It's the middle of July. It's a 105 start, and it's 95 degrees out, and you're sitting in the bleachers. Like, if you want to be sipping on a beer, like you're probably gonna get a cotton mouth pretty quick. But this you could keep sipping on. The splitter, a curveball, something like that. Like you could enjoy it, appreciate it. It'll quench your thirst, and it'll be refreshing. So that's what that was the underlying premise behind what those original ciders were going to be. We figured probably dating back to about 1934 is when we started making sweet cider out here.
Yeah.
And then my dad and mom, I want to say sometime in like the late 70s, bought the commercial cider press that's out there now. So we can crank out, I don't know, anywhere between 1,000 to 1,500 gallons a day on that press. And then it's the same press that's still there today. I use to make all the hard cider. So we press everything here.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's a lot.
It
So
is.
you said you had some Applejack?
I have Applejack. I've got some maple bourbon. Let me go get that. Yeah. So this we kind of did. I'd say a little bit of a sub brand, but we have a couple of lines. Just trying to appeal to a little bit broader customer base. Yeah. So this is the cider that I put in some bourbon barrels that it probably aged for well over a year. And when I went to check it, the ABV just kind of crept up on me, but I love the flavor of it so much. I'm like, I really don't want to mess with this. Like, I don't want to try and blend it down. I don't want to mix it with something else. And so we're just going to leave it as a wine.
Yeah.
And so we have an apple wine that was aged in bourbon barrels, and then sweetened with a little bit of pure maple syrup.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. So if you guys want to give that a shot,
Let's do it.
it's,
You need
yeah.
this with us, right?
Sure.
Cheers, guys.
cheers.
Ooh, that
Yeah.
bourbon.
Baby.
Ooh. Even got bourbon coloring
Ooh.
to it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's smooth.
Yeah, it's still good.
That's really
A
good.
lot smoother than real bourbon, than actual bourbon, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
That's
good.
really good.
Yeah, I haven't tasted this in a bit, but
That's
yeah.
really good.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you think bourbon, you really get a kick with actual bourbon.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is not at all.
Yeah, so you get that bourbon flavor, you get a little bit of that sweetness from the maple, but then like I'm getting like the woody, the barrel,
barrel
like
aged.
that tannin. This
Yeah.
really just dries out your mouth with the finish, but yeah, it's really tasty.
Yeah.
I know I'll twist your arms, but do you want to try that pineapple coconut? And
I will try anything you're willing to offer.
Yeah.
What's the blueberry name?
Hey Blue.
Hey Blue. Oh, stop it.
No,
Wait a
no,
minute.
no, no,
This
no.
smell is outrageous. Are you kidding me? Like, this is straight up blueberry smell.
Is that what blueberries I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Oh, bar none.
Yeah.
You are so correct on
Oh.
that. Like you always said, sells as advertised, right?
Smells as advertised.
Yeah.
This guy's trying to make me drunk.
What inspired this? Because that blueberry lovers out there.
Good.
The name
yeah.
actually, I had the name first, I think. So I was like, "Hey Blue, hey Mr. Umpire," like
Yeah.
it's like something you're gonna yell out at a game. So hey Blue.
Hey Blue.
Yeah, and I was like, blueberry. It's not even a question.
That's awesome.
Blood orange.
That's good. That's good.
Oh. A little lighter.
Lighter.
It is.
Tart.
I've made other, maybe this batch, but I made other ones that have had a much stronger blood orange flavor. Black cherry, and then we're gonna give it some black cherry. Yeah.
Black cherry.
All right,
Never
let's try
tried.
it. Let's go.
Cheers.
Yes.
I taste the cherry.
Yep.
I like this one.
It's good.
I think it's
I
tart.
could drink.
Yeah.
I could drink
Yeah,
this
it's
every
tart,
day.
yeah. It's good.
Yeah, even for black cherry, it's a little tart.
Yeah.
Now, come on.
All right,
Try
so
that pineapple.
the
Let's
one,
go.
the one we've all been waiting for.
All right.
Cheers.
Oh, dear heavens.
That coconut. That pineapple. I don't know what
It tastes like pineapple first and then coconut.
Yeah. I thought it was coconut pineapple.
That's what
Yeah,
I
so
got.
did I.
Yeah.
Coconut pineapple. It's got to be.
Mine's opposite,
Coconut's
so it's
definitely
just
over.
like-
Is more present than
Yeah.
the pineapple for sure.
Goodness, man.
That's very
This is
smooth
so
too. That's
good.
very
That's
good.
Yes, we take that, we dump that right in our slushy machines. We made slushies out of that all summer.
Oh,
Like,
It's
just-
like pina colada.
I can see that.
Oh man.
Pina colada out of that.
Why do we wait so long to come here?
Pina colada.
So we just want to say thank you so much for having us here. This place has been amazing. The atmosphere and everything has been so great. You guys want to say anything as we close out?
Dude, I could okay, I'm gonna be upfront with you, Geoff. I'm not a fan of baseball. I respect the game. But I could see this keeping me awake at a baseball game. You know, I'm not a baseball fan, but
He needs to learn.
if baseball has these drinks at the stadium, I can watch a baseball game.
We got a new fan. I appreciate you guys coming out and taking the time to sit with me. And enjoy some cider while we sat here and
Thank you for
enjoy
having
the beautiful day. So, yeah.
All right, guys, we are signing out. 3 Guys in Cider. So, what's that you just said? You just said you're gonna take it from there. Go ahead.
So we just checked out Hardball Cider in Mount Bethel, Pennsylvania. It's been a very great experience. I loved it. I loved all their cider. The cider tasted spot on, of course. We really put a lot of effort into the flavors, and it really shows in their outcome and all their, the final product. They grew up here, that's great. They can literally have their place of business right on where they've grown up for so many years, and it's been passed down from generation to generation. It's really great that they can be able to do that.
With that said, let's be out.
3 guys. 1, 2, 3. 3 guys.
Like, comment, subscribe.